And tonight we want to talk about nothing by chance. Nothing just happens. And this is somewhat like a summary of the little things that we have been talking in all our lessons. And like we often say, what we gather here to do is to remind ourselves of this truth. We know that what we constantly hear, we have a higher tendency to manifest that we constantly hear, because we are filled, our spirit, soul, and body, we fill ourselves, the totality of our being with this truth. And like I said, we have a higher chance of manifesting these things when we hear it often. So we are thrilled to have you join us as we explore these profound concepts that shape our understanding of life and our place within it. We are constantly raising our consciousness, our awareness, so we can walk into the abundance of blessings and goodies that we all have within and around us. So in this theater of life, every action, every event, every encounter occur within a divine purpose, and this is orchestrated by a divine power, a higher power. So we're saying that nothing again just happens. There's a link to everything that happens to us. In this teaching, we know our lives are not shaped by random occurrences, but by a purposeful divine design. As we are talking about this lesson, we'll be thinking back, if you can think back through your life, and you see how some occurrences that happened in the past that you thought were mistakes or accidents or challenges, how they linked out and all worked out for your own good. As we often say, the divine order of things, it's always taking place in our lives. And we want to align with this flow of life. So when we come from this teaching, from this place of connection, we want to see every good thing, every challenging situation, every up and down, ultimately from that place that it is working for our own good. It's like an intricate design of a puzzle where every piece has a purpose and it fits perfectly in this designated place. You are here now, it's not by accident. You may think you had just stumbled into this place, but it's an orchestration by the divine to bring you to this place, and there's a purpose for every occurrence. So you have your place and I have my place. We have been blessed with different gifts and talents, and as we listen and gather and practice, we sharpen our skills. As we gather to learn and practice this principle, we align with our purpose and walk towards this designated place. So knowing that the divine, we often say that in this divine, in it we live, we move, and we have our being. In other words, the totality of what we are, who we are, it's embedded in this divine, in the totality of this divinity. So by recognizing the divine in every aspect of our journey, we can find deeper meaning and connection in all our experiences. So when something happens, because of this knowing, you're able to link it and know, like we say, all is well. It might not be immediately well, looking well, but we know because we are connected to this one divine source, we know that all is well. Our lives are a part of a greater plan ordered by our higher power. If you begin to see life as a grand plan, and for every one of us, we are part of this great plan. We are all fulfilling purpose. We are all interconnected and fulfilling the purpose for which we have been created as part of this great plan. With this understanding, we look beyond the surface of events, knowing that each moment whether joyful or challenging, is a step towards fulfilling our unique purpose. So as we grow in consciousness, we learn to trust in the divine wisdom guiding our paths and know that everything happens for a purpose. Everything happens for a purpose. There are no mistakes. There are no happenstances. So what appears as a coincidence is actually a manifestation of divine intervention, subtly guiding us towards our own true purpose. I would want to think that even as we're talking about, if you think back over our lives, we'll remember things that happened and we're able to link it to where we are now. Ralph Waldo Emerson said that the purpose of life is not just to be happy. It is to be useful, honorable, compassionate, and have it make some difference that you have lived and lived well. These words remind us that our existence has a higher calling that transcends personal gratification and aligns with divine mission. Now, what we want to always know is to know and understand the divine mission. Like we say, our center, we are here to transform lives for empowered living. As we align ourselves with this flow of life, we want to understand our divine vision. So we begin to walk towards it. So here's a parable of the Chinese farmer. This ancient parable tells of a farmer whose horse ran away, prompting his neighbors to express their sorrow. The farmer replied, maybe the horse later returned with a group of wild horses, and the neighbors congratulated him. Again, he said, maybe his son broke his leg while trying to tame one of the wild horses, and the neighbors again offered their sympathy. The farmer's response remained maybe. Then when the army came to conscript all the able-bodied young men, his son was spared due to his injury. And what does this highlight? The idea that events, whether perceived as good or bad, are all part of a divine, perfectly unfolding action of the universe. Everything, every situation, it's all unfolding perfectly, like we say, for our own good. And what we do is to align to this and to open ourselves up to this flow. Life is what we make of it. Like we say, it's entirely your choice. It's your decision. You have the power to decide what your life would be. It can be a continuous discovery of self. Again, that is what we want to always come to attain from our classes, to constantly discover ourselves, self-discovery, new awareness, new heights, new horizon. It's a continuous discovery of self, our divine nature, love, joy, and happiness. Again, or an endless pattern of our own negative thinking. Whichever way you want it to go, it will go. We have the power to do that. But we want it to be discovery of love, joy, happiness. We have that choice. It's entirely your decision. Too many of us see life as an endless cycle of toil, of work. And when we do that, we often find ourselves stuck in repetitive cycle of doing the same thing over and over again without finding meaning in what we do. Despite putting in more effort, we sometimes feel like we are not making any progress. And that's why we often talk about our thoughts and the resultant effect. So I'm reminded, again, a little story of a fly that repeatedly trying to escape by flying into a closed window. The fly keeps crashing into the glass. using up all its energy in a hopeless attempt to break through. No matter how hard it tries, the fly is doomed to die there on the windowsill. The fly doesn't see that another window is open just a few inches away. With much less effort, it could find its way to freedom by simply changing direction. Often we are like this fly. We are constantly doing the same thing, doing it repeatedly, and not sitting down or calming ourselves, being in the present moment to go within, to discover new ways, direction, work with our intuition, to discover other ways of achieving success. So we see our goals from only one angle and believe that working harder and harder will eventually bring success. That's true to some extent, but we need that time within quiet time to seek direction, to be divinely ordered. But sometimes we need to change our approach and try a new direction. And where would that new direction come? When we come, when we quiet ourselves. In quietness and in confidence is our strength. By so doing, we find an easier path to achieve what we want. There will always be a way out. All we need to do is to calm down, sit down, settle down, go within, and be in that present moment and be directed. So in our classes, we recognize that change, it's always happening in our lives. It's always happening. And we want to be the initiators of this change from this place of knowing. Whether small or big, this change is a natural part of life that helps us grow and discover more about ourselves. When we embrace change, it allows us to see and understand more about ourselves and the world around us. We are talking about nothing just happens. So change is not just something that happens around us, but also within us. We're always talking about an alignment with the divine and be guided by the Spirit as we move on. It affects how we think, what we believe, and how we feel. So as we go through life, we face different experiences that challenge our current views and make us adapt. Adapting to change is a sign that we are growing and becoming more in touch with who we truly are. There's a lesson we had a while ago. Dr. Greg gave that lesson about adaptation being our superpowers. So while we might look, act, and feel the same on the outside, there are always changes happening within us. There's always a quickening. There's always something happening within us, especially when we constantly work towards aligning ourselves with this divine flow. Our beliefs and opinions are constantly evolving. We often hear Dr. Greg say this, we are always evolving along. Things are always happening. How do we react to things that happen around us? Do we react from that place of awareness, of connection, of knowing? And that's what we practically gather here to learn, how to react, how to respond to issues, how to respond. So in this teaching, we understand that there are no accidents and nothing happens by chance. Everything that happens in our life does so with divine purpose. We are divine beings. Everything that's happened, they have been divinely orchestrated to bring you to a place of good abundance. So we also hear stories like, give an instance, we've heard stories like that here. Like someone got a job at a company a few years ago, and at this job, he met another colleague who became a good friend. One day, this friend invited him to a community event where he met another person who recommended this class. These are classes. And because of this recommendation, he decided to join the class and is now listening to these lessons, tuning in as often as he can. Then think about it. Each step along the way, from getting the job to making a friend, to going to the event, to receiving the recommendation, might have seemed like a random event. That's what it seems on the face of it. It's just an accident that I got this job. It's just an accident that I met a friend. It's just a mere occurrence that I attended a gathering. However, when we look back, you can see how each moment is connected to the next, leading you to this exact point for this particular person. And that is how life has been. How you moved from one place to the other, relocated, done this and all that. I thought it was just mere occurrence. It just happened. But everything, we are coming from that place knowing that these have all been orchestrations by the divine to bring us to where we are. So if we begin to see that bad situation as a phase we are going through, that ultimately is bringing us to a better place, then we'll appreciate the moment that we are in, because we're knowing that everything is working out for our own good. So this shows how everything in our life is interconnected and guided by a higher purpose. Don't take yourself for granted. And that's why we often talk about you looking into that mirror, speaking and affirming what you want to see in your life, because you're divine. You have the power to declare a thing and it will come to pass. You are a divine being. You have the totality of this power within you. So we first had to want to come here. It's our choice. Then we had to take action on that desire. If it was just mere a choice and just a choice, and we didn't take the next action, we probably wouldn't be here. Had to take the action on that desire. We had to get up from our comfortable situation or other things that we had piled up to do. Some come to the center, or some tune in on Zoom, log in. This means that none of us are here by mere chance. It's a choice, and we worked on this choice to be here today. So even the person who saw our class poster in front of the building and decided to wander in, yes, people passing by and say, oh, and make inquiries. To wander in, and when they come here, they hear one truth that they will run with. Or the people on our social media platforms that see a promotion and decide to tune in. It may seem like a mere occurrence, but everything has been divinely orchestrated. They had to notice the poster for the case of the people passing in front of the building, or post on our social media and feel interested, and then make the choice to join. This shows that everyone is here for a reason, not by accident. So we like to say that divine right action brought you here, brought me here today. And you are here in your rightful place right now. This means we believe a higher power guided you to be here. And of course, a higher power also guided me to be here this period. You didn't come here by accident. Many steps and choices led to this moment. And as we hear these truths and this teaching and move the next step to practice it, we would also see a manifestation. Divine right action means that everything happened as it should to bring you to the right place at the right time. Everything happens as it should. Again, you are exactly where you need to be right now, learning and growing. We believe you are here for a purpose, and it's part of your journey of life. Sometimes we say things, oh, I wish I heard about this earlier of these years, but everything is happening at the right time. But for any true permanent change to come, it can only come through change when we change our consciousness in our own lives and thoughts. We can't overemphasize the importance of our consciousness and what makes our consciousness, what we think of, what we always fill our being with. We know and understand that we are always reflecting our consciousness. Like Buddha said, what we think we become. So whatever we want to create, we can sow that seed. Begin to think about that. Think about it. Write it as affirmations that anytime you wake up, you walk in, you see it. You fill your being with that which you want to become, and you see yourself manifesting that. We are always demonstrating our consciousness, and nothing can move into our lives merely by chance. Again, our consciousness acts like a magnet, attracting circumstances, people, and events that align with our dominant mindset. So again, like we talked about in one of the lessons, if you don't do this work, if you're not on the driver's seat of your own life, the collective consciousness will attract that for you. So we create a life that mirrors these qualities by cultivating thoughts of success, of peace, of joy. Like we said, we can always use our magic wand to create what we want. And conversely, same for negative thoughts. I like this passage from the scriptures that says, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if there is any excellence and if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. Again, talking about when we fill ourselves with everything that is good, that is what we manifest, that is what we create. It won't just happen. If you want it, you walk towards it. If you want love, you show love. If you want someone to smile at you, then smile. One of the important things for us to remember is that we are always causing something to be created for us through our own thoughts. And whatever we cause, we have set in motion must produce some effect. So as we choose our own direction of thoughts, let's be mindful and know that those thoughts are creative. Life can be a continuous avenue of growth and development, joy and happiness. Or again, it can be an avenue of despair, one of doom and gloom. It's entirely our decision. But one thing is sure, we have that divine right. We have that power to choose our life experience and to accept a forward-moving consciousness. It's your decision, it's my decision. Each one of us is here for a purpose. Whether we know it or not, And that purpose is to bring about transformation of some kind in our lives and in our thinking so that we can live the empowered life. What is your mission? What is your target? What do you want life to be? What are you creating your life to be? We want to always be the directors of our own movie. We do not want the collective consciousness to play out in our lives. So this transformation is a growing process, moving old thought patterns away, and we're moving into the new. Changing the old for the new. Changing all that does not work for the new. We are here to bring about an inner change that will result in an outer change. From the within, it shows on the outside. So in our teaching, we become more aware of our divine nature. We understand that all life is the universal spirit showing itself through us. We always talk about that we are divine spirits. So if we believe that spirit or creative intelligence is everything and everywhere, then nothing else can exist outside of it. We said in it we live, we move, and we have our being. Spirit is the beginning and end of it all. Then we're entirely within this universal spirit. If it's the beginning, if it's the end, and we are within it. So how won't we believe that everything about us is divinely directed, ordered? And all we want to do through these classes is to align to that understanding, align to that flow. We individually exist within spirit, not as separate, but as separate individualized entities. I give an instance to illustrate this. We are like different waves in the same ocean, distinct in our individuality, but connected and part of the same vast body of water. Each one of us is a point of universal consciousness that is forever expressing in our lives. This new awareness shows us that we are channels for the divine, with that one life expressing itself through us. Spirit is constantly expressing, manifesting itself through us. Nothing in our lives, nothing, absolutely nothing happens by chance. Everything is a result of this divine expression. We are divine beings having life on earth here. So we recognize our oneness with a power greater than we are. We are part of that power. We have it and we can use it. I always like this part. We are part of this power that is greater than us, and we have access to it, and we can use it. And the answer is, why are we not using it for our own good? Why are we not creating with this power that is available to us? And how can we create with the things we think, with the words that we speak? We affirm, you declare the good and work towards it. So as we accept through our own spiritual realization that we are individualization of this one infinite mind. And you know what it does? We remove ourselves, when we have this understanding, we remove ourselves from averages, from things just happening, because we know we have this power and we can use it. We don't accept anything that is not working for our own good. We declare and hold on trusting that it's unfolding perfectly. The thoughts of the universe for us are thoughts of good, never of bad. And what it does is to bring us to an expected end. An expected end is a planned end, is a good end. So in any situation, you can boldly hold on and declare only good would come out of this. Because you have an understanding and you have an alignment with this divine. So with this understanding, we trust our intuition. We are one with spirit. In it we live, we move our being. It can operate and show forth in different ways in our lives. Your intuition, knowing it comes from our oneness with source. We know again that nothing happens by chance in our lives. We are creative beings. We make things happen in our lives. We create things. We are part. We are in alignment. We are one with the creative intelligence. So by recognizing that every experience, whether joyful or painful, is part of a higher plan, we can find peace and purpose in our journey. It's not going easy. It's not going the way you plan it. But when you come from that place of total understanding of who you are and your alignment and your oneness with this great source, you find peace. You're looking at the long picture, not the short run. And you can say all is well, not just because you're saying it from the lips, but you're saying it with an understanding and knowing that all is indeed well. That surely the morning will be better. So we want to invite you all to look beyond the immediate and obvious, embracing a perspective that sees the influence of the divine in every aspect of our lives. Not in some aspects, every aspect. Because we have said that we are part of this divine source. If it's the beginning and it's the ending and we are in it, then every aspect of our life, it's in this divine. So in doing so, we cultivate a deeper sense of faith, conviction, resilience, and gratitude, understanding that we are part of a magnificent, purposeful design. That design is not complete without you. You're part of it. You're intricately woven, and you're there to fulfill a purpose, and you are fulfilling that purpose. And what our classes and this teaching do is that as we align ourselves to it, we align ourselves to this flow, we receive clarity, and we do that which we have been created to fulfill. And we know as we do this and practice this teaching, we'd always experience demonstrations in every area of our lives. So do not look at the immediate challenge. Look beyond that, because all is working out for your own good. And thank you all for listening, and so it is.